Hello, welcome to another episode of the Lit Podcast Live Tuesday Night Tea. I am your host, Juana Lyles, and welcome all. Mama already came on at 7:58 saying she was waiting on me. So I apologize for the small, like 2 minute delay here. I was trying to take care of something real quick before we started. But you guys, so welcome, wherever you are, wherever you're watching from, whether it's 5 minutes from now, right now, 5 hours from now, 5 years from now, whenever. Thank you for coming and thank you for joining. And my favorite daughter-in-law is on too, y'all. Hey, Ryan. Um, Tanisha. Oh yeah, I got help in the building. I got my PhD candidate sister in the house, Tanisha. So welcome, Tanisha. I haven't seen you in just like 30 minutes ago. But yeah, we tonight is gonna be, I think as I was getting ready for tonight, I was thinking about like, oh, we're gonna have to continue this because this is a good topic to talk about because it's a very trendy topic right now. And so I think we're gonna have more than one of these episodes, y'all. So if you don't want to, let me know. But I want to give out some good information tonight. Um, and yes, hey Charina, my other sis, my little sis, Charina. Like she's for real, like a sister. So hey Charina. But yeah, and so I'm gonna go ahead and get started, y'all, because I'm gonna try to get as much information as I can within these 30 minutes. If I start coughing, know that I'm alive and I'm okay. I just got some stuff going on. It's not COVID, it's not RSV, it's not the flu, it's not pneumonia, it's not tuberculosis, it's not none of that stuff. Um, it's some other stuff, okay? But I have my little inhaler, so I'm good. But and I got lots of water. So let's get started. So I know that many people, because in myself included, have heard this trending topic, and I'm calling it trending because that's what it is right now. It's the buzzword narcissist, right? So when we call people narcissists, people are asking, am I dating a narcissist? Am I married to a narcissist? Was my parents a narcissist? Like all these different things about narcissism, right? And a president that we had recently, no names, but they even said that he was a narcissist, right? And that's when I first really started hearing it come to be more trendy, was them several years back. But now it just seems like everybody's talking about it, along with gaslighting. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about it too, because clinically there's a difference between having clinical narcissism and narcissistic types traits, which actually we all can kind of possess some healthy narcissist type excuse me, narcissist type traits. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into this. Again, thank you guys for joining wherever you are. I appreciate you all. I appreciate your support. So am I dealing with a narcissist? I don't know. Are you? Hell, you could be the narcissist. But anyway, let's talk about it. So a narcissist person in a relationship, you like, I'm not going to focus on just spouses, but just in a relationship, they're typically manipulative, self-centered. They have like, it's difficult to feel connected to them. They might be verbally aggressive or abusive to you. And so being in a relationship with a narcissist can also result in your own low self-esteem, your diminished healthy connections with other people, because we'll get into it, but some of it comes from isolation, okay? And then they also try to restrict you, hence the isolation part, restrict you from access to resources, to other people and things like that, so that you feel like you can't leave the relationship, right? And so a lot of people that are in relationship, or whether it's your partner, your intimate partner, a friend even, and parents or other family members. They have mental health struggles because of this narcissistic abuse. Okay. So let's jump right into what a narcissist is. So, does anybody besides Tanisha know what a narcissist is? And hello, Coach Brian out there, what's up? Um, does anybody know? Because I know Tanisha would know because she is a therapist, like she's a school counselor. So, anybody else want to take a guess? Well, I know there's a delay, but I'm gonna just go ahead and tell y'all. So, a narcissist is someone clinically, we would diagnose a person with narcissistic personality disorder, or what we call NPD. And so these type of people will have overinflated ego, a lack of empathy for others. They can have an intense need or intense need for attention, excessive need for attention or admiration from other people. And so all of this stems from having like a fragile self-esteem. So they're really more sensitive than they try to, more than they appear. Okay. And so this also can lead to, um, like make a person more aggressive, explosive, and hostile, especially when they are criticized. Okay. And so, how many people, here's my little statistic, right? Um, in community samples that were taken, for surveys or whatever, there were diagnosable cases of NPD that range from 0 to 6.2%, with an estimation of 50 to 75% of them being men. So, right now, that's kind of like what we look at is unfortunately like saying that men are, when we refer to it, it's like men are the ones. Hello, Michelle. Let me get a quick sip of water, y'all. So, when we think about narcissistic personality disorder, um, that's where I was saying, like the actual disorder, there's several different types of narcissist, um, like categories that it can fall into. But overall, it's marked by a grandiose sense of self and lack of empathy. And so, unlike other forms of mental illness, narcissism and personality disorders affect a person's their nature and distort their understanding of themselves. So they don't even see that this is a problem, that this is what's happening to them, right? And it also affects their relationships and their friendships, which decreases their ability to connect and form healthy bonds with other people. So when we look at clinical narcissism versus narcissistic traits, like I was saying earlier, people can display traits of narcissism. And I think that's what's really going around is the traits of narcissism, not actual clinical diagnosis. And so if you're not like a mental health type of provider, a professional, I would suggest not just saying that people are narcissists. Like I'm living with a narcissist. Well, you don't know because you can't really diagnose them. And I'm not trying to put you down, and I'm not trying to like shame anybody, but it's a real clinical diagnosis that is actually a mental health illness. Okay. So that's why it bothers me when people are just like, oh, this is a narcissist. No, they probably have narcissistic traits. That's it. Okay. So for example, some traits that people might display are, like I said, the lack of empathy. They may have a sense of entitlement. They might be absent from like personal insight, like so they don't recognize that what they're doing is wrong or anything like that. But that doesn't mean that they are, or that they have the diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So in order to receive the diagnosis, like I was saying, you need to have a diagnosis from a mental health professional. And we have a big old purple book that has been updated now. So there's the DSM-5-TR, okay? And so in there, it gives us clinical criteria for narcissistic personality disorder. So that's why I was saying it kind of bothers me when we just throw that out there like that. that people have, that they're narcissists and they're really not. So what Tanisha is saying, yeah, they have the inability to see beyond what affects them. Absolutely. And it says people are confusing being selfish with narcissism. Thank you, Tanisha. That's on point. Because just because somebody is doing something that that you don't necessarily agree with doesn't mean they're a narcissist. Okay. So I'm gonna go into some of the traits and signs, okay? Not the disorder itself, because I think that's going to be a whole nother episode. But I just want to talk about these traits because y'all are out here saying you living with narcissists, your mama and your dad was a narcissist and all this kind of stuff, okay? Which could be possible. Don't get me wrong, it could be possible, but these are the traits. Extreme sensitivity to criticism, rejection, and negative feedback. So it's them people where it's like you're, you know, I don't like the way that you did something, or they start to feel rejected because you said no, I don't want to go out on a date with you. Whatever that negative feedback looks like, okay? They have that inflated sense of self or confidence. And y'all, I kind of dealt with this yesterday when I went to the doctor. And I was like, whoa, dude, like pipe down a little bit, because it was like, I know what I'm doing. I'm the doctor. You're a counselor. Yeah. Okay. And I was like, but I do have a whole medical history that I served 18 years in the military doing lab testing. So yeah, whatever, but it's like he had to inflate himself. Okay. So, and be overly confident to let me know. And plus, Damon was sitting right there. So I don't know if there was like some male testosterone, because Damon didn't even say nothing to the man. But anyway, enough about that. They also have the inability to take responsibility for actions. I mean, so many of us do have that, right? Like, I don't want to be, I don't want to take responsibility or accountability for what I did, but I'm going to point it out on you and say you wrong, and I'm going to blame you instead of talk about what I did. Okay. So that's what that looks like. So there's also a tendency to make everything about themselves, everything. So we're talking, I just did that, right? I just made it about me, going to the doctor. But in all seriousness, it's like, it's all about me, not about you. We have conversations, it's all about me, not about you. And that's what I'm saying. It doesn't have to just be in marriage or intimate relationships. It could be with your friends, okay? Projection of anger and blame onto others. So that's where this other thing comes in about this gaslighting. That's that's another topic too. And so they also use manipulation tactics to exploit other people. And what I'm talking about manipulation tactics, let's see what comes to mind when we think about manipulation tactics. Just like trying to influence you or convince you to do something that you probably wouldn't have been doing, kind of guilting you into something. And I'm sorry if y'all can't hear me. The people across the street are doing something. There's a lack of healthy relationships. So if you look over their life time, or just their relationships with their family, other friends, or other intimate relationships, it's kind of not healthy. Holding grudges and seeking revenge. That's a good one. Holding grudges and seeking revenge. So I'm gonna get you for that. I'm not gonna forget what you did, and I'm gonna get you back one day. That's what that looks like. So frequent devaluing of relationships or discarding people. So people hurt me, I'm done. I'm done. Hey, cuz, hey, Tiffany. But so it's like I feel rejected by somebody. I feel hurt. I don't like what they said, whatever that looks like. So I'm just done. Like, that relationship didn't mean anything to me anyway. So I don't care about them no more. So they just cut people off right quick. Refusal to admit or experience vulnerable emotions. So I know a couple weeks ago we had I had my favorite guys on, my son, my husband, and my son-in-law. And, we were talking about that, like, what's hard about sharing your emotions. So they're guys. Typically, guys don't share vulnerable emotions with people. And we had a whole conversation about that. there was guys that chimed in from the audience. So when you think about that, does that mean that they're a narcissist? No, it's probably some stuff that happened to them, some experiences that they had, so they guard themselves. So that doesn't mean that they're a narcissist, okay? They just are having narcissistic traits. But then this last one that I want to talk about is being overly jealous, controlling, or possessive of others. Mm. So some of the signs, so those are some of the traits of a narcissistic traits, right? But some signs that you might be in a narcissist, in a relationship with a narcissist, is like the person will primarily focus on themselves. Their secondary focus is being on attaining admiration and attention of others. So you go out, they might be the life of the party, right? Everybody look at me. I'm this, I'm that. Okay. They will also deploy a variety of narcissistic relationship patterns, such as the manipulation. They can be charismatic. They can be using like exploitive tactics in order to ensure that their own needs and their own wants are met. So they're gonna do what they got to do to get you to do what they want, or to make sure that what they want to happen happens. And so, in a relationship, in a marriage, you may be the subject of their manipulation and their abuse. Okay, while your partner treats everyone else positively. So they treat everyone else positive, and then they manipulate you and abuse you. Okay, so then when you go out, it's like nobody believes you, right? Nobody believes that this is happening at your house because your partner is like the absolute best. So the reason that they do that is because it helps to maintain that facade of word, for them to get that praise, that admiration that they need to kind of fulfill themselves. And so it makes it difficult for anyone else to believe that it's even happening. So that's why a lot of times when people are in like domestic violence relationships, it's like, especially when I don't want to say like rich people, but like more affluent people or something like that, people don't think that it's true. I remember when I was like in AIT, which is my advanced initial training. So I was stationed in San Antonio, and I had a roommate that was married to a police officer. This person was very abusive to her. Like, and she was older than me, like she had been married for a long time, and she left to go to the military so that she could kind of get away and she was trying to get herself established. And he would call, and I was like, girl, hang up the phone, don't talk to him, but this is her whole husband. And I'm like just 20, I was like 21, 22 years old. But I didn't understand their relationship, but I knew that he was being abusive and he was manipulating her on the phone. He's all the way in a whole nother state away from Texas, and it's over the phone, and she was scared. So, but who would believe her? And that's some of the stuff she told me. Who would believe her? Because he was a high-ranking police officer. So just saying. Tanisha said that NPD is a low-key cousin to sociopathic behavior. Girl, you right. That's a whole different conversation, though. For real, I think we should get into that too, because that's some stuff. Excuse me. But so some of the things that I want to go ahead and add and talk about is like some signs that you might be in this relationship, right? So again, there's like, you don't feel connected to them because they have a lack of empathy. So they're just like, I don't get why you feeling the way you do. That's on you, not me, right? They don't really get you. So we are, as human beings, we connect emotionally. We connect by feeling seen, feeling heard, feeling validated and understood by others. So that's where the empathy comes in. So when they don't have that, they when narcissists are present, they tend to be overly charismatic and naturally drawing others towards them. So then it's about me again. It's not about you. So then you feel kind of um, confused, and as a partner, you feel confused and you find it difficult to distinguish between them being like so charismatic and just caring and concerned and all of this, but then having a lack of empathy, right? So anyway, it's confusing. Then let's see. Here's that one I was talking about. You're gaslighted by them. So what does that mean? People with narcissism often gaslight their partners, which is actually the act of invalidating another person's experience in order to make one question its authenticity. So basically what I'm doing is I'm like, let's just let's say I'm the narcissist. I hide Demon's keys or something, and I know where his keys are or whatever, and then I'm just like, you should have kept up with your keys. You should have put your keys somewhere. What are you talking about? Maybe you're really losing your mind. I don't know what you mean. It's all that kind of stuff. Like they know what they're doing, but they're just like, nah, I think you're a little off on that. So then you start to question yourself, like, am I going crazy? Am I making this into a bigger deal than what it really is? Um, Also, it says that narcissists gaslight others because their fragile self-esteem crumbles if their imperfections or their mistakes are perceivable by others. So when their mistakes can't be hidden, they try to switch it up and change the narrative and make it more favorable for them. Okay. Here's another one. I'm gonna only go over two more of them after this. So they can love bomb you. So what is love bombing? Love bombing is when someone bombards their partner with affection, strong emotion, gifts, time, energy. You get all the things, right? They're just like, here, baby, I love you so much. Here's all the stuff, right? You want a Birkin bag? I got you. They give you all the good stuff, right? Um, but then they use the love bombing to build this facade of intimacy and trust. So now you're like, oh my gosh, my man loved me, or my lady loves me. She bought me some new rims, whatever, right? And then the partner will stay in the relationship because they're just like, man, I trust this person. They're my everything. We're best friends. But then the so then when this stuff starts happening, you don't notice the deeper underlying problems. So then this creates like an idealized situation for the partner to attempt to pursue and recreate through the relationship. So um you're like confused because they're just showering you with love and gifts. And so then when they switch up, you kind of like you don't really understand it because you're like, no, they're not really like that. So you question it, right? So then they hold grudges. So when a narcissist feels as though they've been slighted or insulted or criticized or put down in any kind of way, all of their insecurities and all of their deepest fears are realized, right? That's how they see it. They can't process, they can't understand, and they don't release internalized pain in a healthy way. So then they hold the grudges and they seek revenge on you in the future. Okay. So they're going to get you back for this thing that you wasn't even really trying to insult them. You just said something like maybe you corrected a word that they were saying, but you did it in front of other people. So that causes an insecurity for them because then now that's something that they don't see it as like you were helping them or, just because, I mean, if I love you, I don't want you to walk around sounding stupid or looking stupid, so I'm going to help you and I'm going to say something. But now if you start to feel insecure about what I said, because maybe there were people and I whispered or something, you take that and you hold on to that and you're going to get me back for it. That's just kind of what that looks like. And then the fifth one that I want to talk about is, well, actually, I'm going to do six. They use triangulation. Now, triangulation, Lord, don't let you have no other third person in the house. Like there might be a kid or maybe a parent lives with you or somebody else. It doesn't matter who it is, But triangulation is basically when two people are having a disagreement, and then the third person is brought in, like the co-signer, right? And it's used to help resolve the problem. But in narcissistic triangulation, it's a manipulation tactic just to ensure that the narcissist viewpoint is validated. Does that make sense, y'all? Like, I hope it's making a little bit of sense to you. So it's like, I'm not, it's like, I need a cosigner, but I need you to validate my point. I need you to be on my side. So I'm not going to go pick a third person that's going to probably oppose what I'm saying. And so when you think about that, the opposing person's perception is then invalidated. So if you're the opposing person, I bring in the third person, then now it's us against you because you don't know what you're talking about, right? And so then what happens is you, the victim, start to question yourselves, and then you abandon the argument altogether because you're just like, okay, they won, they know, they said it, like they, and I know it's not about winning or losing an argument, but it's just that's how triangulation works. It's, people do it, excuse me, they do it in families. So like sometimes, like, let's say the mom feels like the victim. She will go and get her kids to be like, you did this to us, daddy, to the husband or whatever. And then sometimes the kids or be like, or say the father is like that to the children, saying like, doesn't your mom sleep a lot? She don't ever clean up. She don't eat. She don't cook. She don't do all this stuff, right? And then you're like, I do the stuff. So it's just, that's all that triangulation is they're trying to get somebody on their side to validate what they're saying and to invalidate yours. So this last one, y'all, I'm lying. Okay, I'm gonna do 7 because these are good. They try to control you. So a narcissist fears being rejected, and they also fear being abandoned. So it leads them to take control of all the situations and try to control those people around them and their experiences and all of the, all of whatever they're into. They try to control it because they don't want to be abandoned or rejected. So they might do this by restricting who you spend time with. Let's just say you have a close relationship with your family and your friends, and then they're like, you gonna go out with the girls again? Your parents just came up here. Like, then it might be how much money you spend. So then let's put that together. Well, if you're going to go out with your friends, we don't have that much money and you already spent this much and we don't have that much. We trying to save for this. We trying to go do this. We are, but you don't need to do. Okay. And so it's also like how many decisions you're able to make for yourself before you face the negative repercussions from them. So like you make a decision, you do something, I'm doing this for, because I think it's going to benefit us or benefit our situation. But then, no, that I don't know what she was thinking about. Why would you make a decision like that? So that kind of stuff happens. Okay. So they try to control you. And I want to say that again, they try to control you, but it's more controlling like who you spend time with, where you spend time, how much money you spend, whatever resources you have access to. Sometimes that can look like, y'all, this control, I've seen it where I've worked with people. We got cameras in the house, right? Cameras are safe. You're not thinking about that. Like, I want to make sure somebody don't break into my house. But then I worked with someone in the past where they had the cameras and they had all the like smart devices in the house. So it's like you could control everything from your phone. Well, this person actually was turning the air off. So the lady was sitting up in the house with no air on. She would have to go outside to sit outside and get in the pool, to try to stay cool, things like that. Then he would lock the door so she couldn't get back in the house, just because he could do it from the phone. Who's going to believe it? Because but you can't make this stuff up. So then the last thing that I'm going to talk about for real, is they isolate you. So that's what I was talking about earlier. They try to get you away from all your family and friends and all that kind of stuff. So they try to keep up this facade, right? But it doesn't last forever. This perfection type of facade does not last forever. So what they do is they isolate you from your loved ones. They point out, especially the loved ones that know that they're being manipulative and that they're being abusive, because after a while it starts to break down and other people start to notice, like, this don't seem right. So especially if they're the ones telling you, if you got that girlfriend or that guy friend that is like, that ain't right, dog, like, she doing some stuff over there, that ain't right, this ain't normal. Then the narcissist partner, they find out and they try to keep you from those people, the people that love you, the people that care for you. And so they do that in order to keep you from leaving. So a narcissist will convince you to cut off those relationships because those aren't good for you. You don't need to be with them. They jealous of you. They hating on you. Whatever it is that they'll tell you, they try to tell you to convince you that relationship is not healthy rather than the one that you have with them. And so they might do that by using lies about your loved ones, and just overall telling you, like I said, just telling you that what's best for you. So that, again, it's a part of the control piece of where you're going and who you're going with. And so there are some more things I want to talk about, but y'all, these are some things like, I saw that Tanisha, she had put on there about the love bomb, and she was like, wow, a love bomb, who knew, right? It's like, when I think about it, I think about like what Damon always says to me, like, you meet the representative, right? So in a relationship, you meet the representative. You meet that person that's opening the doors. They might be buying you some flowers. They just so chivalrous, right? They doing all the things for you. And then you get home and everything changes, right? Oh, I'm sorry. That was Tammy that said that. Who knew? I'm sorry about that. And so Tammy also said, I need to replay in part 2 on this topic. Very interesting. And so, yeah, Tanisha said, no, you cut my AC off and we're about to file some papers. I know that's right, girl, because that's that control. And so, you guys, I know that this was like real short, but there's so much. So I think we're going to continue this on for the next couple days. I don't know, the next couple weeks, because this is some good stuff. And I want you to recognize if you are dealing with some, maybe it's not really a narcissist, like in a clinical way, but you're dealing with someone that has narcissistic traits, which are abusive. Okay. That's the main thing that I want you to know, that it's abusive. It's not okay to do these things. And so even if they are not full on clinical diagnosed, but kind of like what Tanisha is saying, like personality disorders are kind of like, they can come in clusters. So you have a little bit of one, you probably got a little bit of another one too, right? And so they kind of overlap, some of them. So when you're thinking about some narcissistic stuff, it can really be like closely related to some psychopathic type of stuff, right? And you wonder how this happens. Well, it starts out with these abusive types of things, and people are in domestic violence relationships all the time and can't leave because they feel trapped because of these narcissistic traits and behaviors that people are holding over them. Like I was kind of oblivious to all this stuff before I got into the counseling field. I ain't gonna lie to you, because my family life was very my parents, they weren't fighting, they weren't doing all that kind of stuff, but so I wasn't exposed to different things like that. But I remember having a client talking about financial abuse, and I was like, what the hell is financial abuse? Like, what is that? Like, how did somebody financially abuse you? Because it was so far removed from it, because my daddy told me and my mama made sure you always got your own, so I never really thought about, I don't go into a relationship thinking like, oh, I got to have my stuff together because he's going to be abusive, or he's going to leave me, or he's going to do something to me, right? You don't go into a relationship thinking that. But I was raised to be an independent person. I can be a team player now because we in this marriage thing together. But I already got my stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I hope you got some too. That's just the way. I mean, I know not everybody thinks like that because you're supposed to be married, you're supposed to be together. What's yours is mine, what's mine is yours. But I'm just being real, okay? Um, and so, yes, thank you, Tammy. She said, I still tell my children that to be honest, right? Because I mean, it's just, you don't know. You think you know people, but you don't really ever know anybody. And I mean, that's my personal opinion. It's not any kind of clinical thing. And remember, this is not I never put out a disclaimer, but this is not therapy. But if you are happening to be in a narcissistic type of relationship, it's not normal. That stuff that I was just talking about is not normal. Whether it's them being clinical diagnosed or not, those are traits. Those are red flags. That's period. Point blank red flags. So, especially like with the love bombing and you start seeing some stuff like after a while, they holding stuff over your head. Like I was saying, the girl with the financial abuse, I'm talking about like, I gave you $50. You need to use that $50 for the whole week to make sure our kids got something to eat and whatever you're going to do. And, she come up short, she got to pay bills, but he's giving her a certain allowance of like money. I remember being in the army. I remember a soldier told his wife, um, I'm gonna check the mileage on the car so I know where you going every day. Like if there's too many miles on the car, because the only place you should be going, he said he did a route of like from their house to the daycare and like how far it is to go to like a certain store or whatever. And he was like, you don't need to have more miles on the car than this. That's some craziness. Y'all, that ain't normal. So, hey, Valerie, thanks for joining us. So, yeah, I just wanted y'all to kind of get some of this stuff. But yes, definitely we're going to have a part 2 because I want to go into some different types of narcissist personality, like because there's like sexual narcissists, there's y'all, it's so much. Like it's so much with this. It's not just cut and dry and simple. There's so much. And so I want y'all to know what kind of people y'all out here dealing with, okay? There oh yeah, there's a spiritual narcissist. I just thought about that. There's vindictive narcissists, just all these different ones. So I want to talk to y'all about some of those different types of narcissists, okay? And I know that as I'm talking about this, clinically we don't recognize subtypes, but overall we kind of professionally we see these are the different types, okay? So we recognize subtypes even though that they're not there's not really a, like once you get diagnosed, that's your diagnosis. It's just NPD. It's not like you're overt narcissist. It's not like that, okay? But I want to get into that. I love that we had this quick little conversation, y'all. And I want to encourage you to, like what Tammy's saying, talk to your kids about this stuff, especially teenagers. I'm sure I can get an amen from the choir because these teenagers are in these types of relationships and they don't know. You know why they don't know? Because we ain't giving them a good example because we've been in them or we dealt with it. And now our children are going through these types of things. But let me find out. You know what I'm saying? That's how I was when my kids were in high school. I was like, oh no. Who this? What's their name? What's their mama name? What's their daddy name? What kind of, I was all in it. Probably being a helicopter parent, not gonna lie, but also because I'm in this field, y'all. So I see what these kids are doing to each other. And I'm sure it's worse now because my kids were, just, I think there might have been Instagram when they were out, but I know there's definitely like Facebook and other little social media platforms, but now it's terrible. I'm just saying, because I even heard our pastor said there's a whole new platform out. I can't remember what it's called, something. But, so there's more and more platforms daily. So, we got to watch our kids. And they get bullied. They deal with these narcissists in intimate relationships, even if they're not having sex. Just saying, intimate partner relationships and friendships. Threads. Thank you, Tammy. That's what it's called, threads. I'm talking about trash or something. Anyway, but so thank you guys for joining. So I think next week, yeah, we're gonna finish talking about this. I don't know if we're gonna finish because there might be a whole nother one. But as I know, all right. Thank you guys for joining. Again, thank you for watching the replay. If you're gonna watch the replay, I will see y'all next week. But before I go, I am here. It is now, y'all. And I thank God because I am alive. New mercies every day. Y'all take care, and I will see y'all next week.